Alright, Shalom, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. This is your brother Horeb making a video to feed the sheep, to edify the lambs. Shalom to the Akim wa Akhwat, you're not going to be watching this video. Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Barakatham, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. Now I'm going to just get right into it and open it off with Zephaniah 3 and 8, and it says, Salakia 3 verse 5, Salakia. This is Zephaniah 3 and 5. Yahweh is in the midst thereof. Salakia. Let me start up above. Right? This is Zephaniah 3 and 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, the oppressing city. And at this moment is speaking of the children of Israel, Jerusalem. Right? It says she obeyed, because what happened when you read about the history, when you read about like Jeremiah and Ezekiel, our people were oppressing each other. Right? For example, in Jeremiah, when there's a law where the stranger supposed to get their inheritance when they come back from a foreign country. Our people wouldn't give them their inheritance. Right? Our people would go take themselves, our own people as slaves. And after the 7th year, when it's the 7th year, you're supposed to let them go with substance, unless they want to stay with you, right? But our people wouldn't let them go. So when we were in our rulership, we were oppressing each other and we were committing idolatry. We were breaking all our laws. Okay. Now it says, she obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. Who's the one who the Most High gave the law to receive correction to, and to walk in his ways? The children of Israel. Right? So she obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in Yahweh, she drew not to her power, right? Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves, they gnaw not the bones to the marrow. Right? Our princes, you seen the elder Apostle Tar went into a video that came out in New York with a bunch of Jakes are riding their bicycles, and they're doing foolishness in the streets, and then they got offended when what seems like the situation was this couple in the car stopped their vehicle, and then it ended up injuring one of them. So they took their anger out on the people in the car, a group of them, a bunch of them, and it was mainly Jakes. So it says her princes within her are roaring lions, going around robbing each other, killing each other. They can't even act. People can't even, especially our men and our women, they can't conduct themselves properly in public. A lot of us, right? Her judges are evening wolves, they gnaw not the bones till the marrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary, they have done violence to the law. Right? The Most High Yahweh is in the just Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So you read Deuteronomy 32 and 39. We're going to get that. Scripture says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. The Most High is the one who kills and who raises people up. There's no other power. There's nobody who leaves this earth or is born to earth without the Most High's go on it. Okay. So all these plagues and judgment that's reigning in the earth, these people don't know that it's the Most High doing it, and they don't know because of their evil and their sin that the Most High brings judgment on the earth. Now that may be common sense to us, but it really isn't common sense to a lot of people. Right? And people wondering, oh, why is COVID? These guys are ducking, they're scared of this virus and all that stuff, wearing their masks. Walking by people and they go take extra 5 steps away from you and they got their mask on and everything. Right? These people are scared. They're scared of this, and we be laughing and we be making jokes because we know that this little virus ain't nothing, right? This little CV-19 ain't nothing compared to the plagues that's getting ready to happen on this earth, right? Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. Like you see on the news, people dying all the time. People right now dying in famine. People dying in hunger. People dying and getting murdered. You got people in the black markets being sold into slavery, being sold as sex slaves. Most sides causing earthquakes, killing people. I mean, he's using other men to drop bombs, and man, the Most High is bringing judgment throughout the whole earth. But the people, unjust and wicked people, they don't understand, and like he says, they don't know no shame. There's no shame on them when they do wickedness, man. Right? So let me get this is Genesis 6 and 9. I'll play this video. It says, so okay, let me get it on here. This is Genesis 6 and 5, and the Most High saw that. It might be Elohim here. Oh yeah, this one's Yahweh's name. So it says, and Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Right, and I'll jump down to verse 9. Oh, whoops. Verse 11. The earth was also corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. Right, so now we're in the time where everyone's corrupting their ways again. Everyone's running off doing whatever they want to do. And you got a remnant of the children of Israel, the people who the Most High Yahweh gave his law to keep, and they're returning and keeping the ways he told them to walk into. That's why the elect are going to be spared from the judgment. Right, but the rest of these people ain't gonna be spared from the judgment. The children of Israel, especially, mainly. Okay, so let me play this video.
In what can only be described as a bizarre and even demonic display of pro-abortion ideology.
And when you got Esau telling you you're being demonic, you're being demonic. Okay, for example, let me get that in John 19. When Esau's telling you you're being a demon, you're being a demon. Okay. Now this is it said, John 19 and 7. The Jews answered him, we have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. Then when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. He's like, what is wrong with these? And at the time it was the Jews, and you Negroes, man. you Negroes, man. He's like, Esau's looking at Jake like, what is wrong with these people? Esau be, that's what, but you guys know Esau be looking at niggas like Jake, so-called black people, like, there's something wrong with them. And as the scripture says, they're filled with the fury of the Most High. Our people are filled with the fury of the cup of the riot of the wine of his wrath. Okay? Is it Isaiah 51 and 20, thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. It's causing trouble. Right? They are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of thy power. Right? Jake be doing some stupid ass stuff, and when everybody sees on the news, they keep making fun of us. Everybody. One of us mess up, and then Esau and all these nations start making fun of all of us, as if all of us are acting like a wild bull in the net, when it's really not all Jakes, but a good portion of Jakes are on this. But it says they are full of the fury of the Most High, that cup that we drink, and they refuse correction. So this is what happens. Right?
Women in Argentina last week wept tears of joy upon their country's Congress advancing legislation legalizing abortion. The scene was eerily similar to one that unfolded in Ireland in 2018, when the formerly Catholic country voted overwhelmingly.
Formerly Catholic country, and as just like Argentina is, Latin America is also a so-called Catholic country. right? But just like Esau, our people want to follow after the ways of the Edomites. Right? Let me get that in Second Ezra 4. Salaki to pause the video, but just like the script, the Most High says, whoops. Second Maccabees 4 and 15 KJV. It says, pulling up on my phone, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Right? Now Esau done went around saying that they're God's people and they're Christians and Catholics, and they done force us to bow down to their God. But Esau didn't keep none of what the scripture says. They don't put idolaters to death, nor do they put people who commit rape to death. The scripture, the law of the Most High talks about the judgment for breaking certain laws, but nobody keeps these laws. Everybody wants to be forgiven, but nobody wants to keep the law. Right? It says, this is the Most High speaking to the wicked, the Edomites. He says, "Seeing thou hatest instruction and cast my words behind thee." Esau was never upright, but Esau wanted to come in now saying he's the Edomite. I mean, he's a true Christian on the earth, the exemplary example of what it means to be a Christian. And Edomite countries keeping the law. They're all doing whatever they want to do, following after their own ways. And our people don't understand. This is why the reason like that is why it's part of the reason why the Most High is destroying these Edomites, these white people's rulership. But people don't even see it. They can't even see that his rulership is falling before their faces. And the so-called white man doesn't understand why it's falling. They think this is just how the world goes. It's just a natural cycle, and then somehow America's gonna stay up forever. Right, and these guys thinking that somehow their country's gonna stay up forever. Meanwhile, in these Latin American countries, you got famine happening. You got a lot of crime going on. Northern Kingdom killing Northern Kingdom. Right, trafficking, slavery. And then the Northern Kingdom are enslaving each other out, still down there. And then you got what's it called? What was I missing? Inflation in certain Latin America, especially in Venezuela mainly, right? But they don't care. All they want to do, here it is, you're still wearing your mask, and you worry about COVID. They all gonna take the V. They all gonna take the V, but they're not afraid. They're not. But all they want to do is come out and celebrate wickedness, man.
The scene was eerily similar to one that unfolded in Ireland in 2018, when the formerly Catholic country voted overwhelmingly to repeal its pro-life 8th Amendment and legalize the killing of babies in the womb.
You see, that is, even I know these Edomites, they don't care about the law of the Most High, but that's not something to be so prideful and rejoicing over. Be humble. At least be humble. Damn. There's cheering and giddy. It's like, yo, what's so giggly? How's that so giggly about? These girls giggling like they're gonna go around and have babies to abort anytime soon. I'm sure majority of women ain't going around aborting babies.
And legalize the killing of babies in the womb. In Ireland, many pro-lifers held on to hope that Pope Francis would speak out in support of the unborn, as their very slaughter was up for vote. But to the sadness of many, he did not. And similarly, Catholics feel heartbroken that Pope Francis hasn't spoken up in defense of the unborn, where they are now newly threatened, his home country of Argentina.
Well, that's enough, because these Edomites, they don't care about the Most High's God's law, but you Israelites. Now, I personally believe the Most High has their rulers doing this because he wants to. He's getting ready to fuck. He's getting ready to. So I'm not, excuse my French, I like to say it, but sometimes you gotta really stick it in there with the language. The Most High is getting ready to fuck the Northern Kingdom up down there, and I'll show you an example in the scriptures real quick. Right. This is Well, actually, let me get the law first, because the Most High has a law for this, man. The Most High has a law for aborting babies, right? And what should happen to judgment if a man rapes a woman. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Most High's law. Here it is. Esau will put you in jail if you rape a woman, but the Most High says kill the man, that you may take out the wickedness in the earth. Because you see, y'all ain't killing people. That's why people still going around being wicked, because no one's afraid of the judgment. No one's afraid of the Most High in this world. Now it says, it's like I turned up my fan. I'm getting hot in this room. It's Exodus 21 and 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follows, then thou shalt give life for life. So this is going into the womb. If somehow whatever Jake be doing, right, and a woman has a baby in her womb, in her stomach, and she gets hurt, the Most High saying if no mischief follow, right, then he's to be punished as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and will pay as the judges determine, right? This was something we were doing back in the land, right? But it says, let's say you were messing around and you're messing around and somehow the baby got killed, right? Then if the baby died in her womb, you have to die. So now you got because abortion is done by the doctor. So, but now if you went out to that doctor and got that baby put to death, now the Most High has a just reason to kill you, because you willingly went to go offer that baby's life. So now your life has to be taken. The Most High is gonna kill you. We telling you harsh judgment is coming. Harsh judgment is coming. Scripture says in Genesis 9 and 6, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Yahweh shall say, he who liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. What do you use a sword for? You use a sword to kill. So yes, I can understand where a woman coming from. Yeah, some woman might have got raped and they got a man force himself upon her, and they don't want to keep the child. Well, now if you go and offer up that child, now this is where the fear of the Most High comes in, and this is where people come in corrupting themselves. You have to have a certain level of fear and discipline on you to be like, I'm gonna just go and dash this baby. I'm gonna just go and dash this baby out, right? And you think nothing bad's gonna happen to you. But these people don't have that consciousness in them to know and understand judgment. So I'll close on that scripture called judgment, but that I was reading literally today in Job the 19th chapter. Let me get the next law when it comes to rape. Right? This is Deuteronomy 22. I'm gonna get 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. You see this? But people got a problem with the Most High God's law though. Esau don't put him to death. Esau puts him in jail. Salakia. But everyone's got a problem with the laws of the Most High though. This is it right here in the scriptures. Let me see it in another version. Whoops. Let me see if NLT, if it'll literally say rape. 22. Yes, look, but if the man meets the engaged woman out in the country and he rapes her, then only the man must die. Do nothing to the young woman. See, because if you're engaged or you're betrothed, that counts as you being what's it called? You being belonging to another man, and that's adultery. So the man already met. And the Most I said, if a man and a woman right? If a man is discovered committing adultery, both he and the woman must die, right? But in this case, if a man forces his way onto her, even if she's engaged, right, then only the man must die. Do nothing wrong. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no crime worthy of death. She is as innocent as a murder victim. See that? Since the man raped her out in the country, it must be assumed that she screamed, but there was none to rescue her. Okay, so the scripture speaks about this type of stuff. You put that man to death. But everyone's got a problem with the Most High's laws, though. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have wisdom. The book is too old. Y'all can't even get past this part in your society. But you got a problem. You talking shit about the scriptures. So the Most High gonna kill these people, man. I ain't shedding no tears for no Edomites, for no East Indians. I can't shed a tear for this. Jumping up and down, screaming, rejoicing. The Most High gonna destroy them. Look at him. He says the wicked know no shame. Who the Most High speaking to? He's speaking to the elect. He's like, look, I can literally see these scriptures jumping out at me, man. People don't understand, who don't have no wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They don't know shame. You have to have no shame to be. Even I'm sure there's women who at least at home and are happy about it, but they ain't out there doing this, jumping up and down, screaming like the Most High don't have his angels recording what you're doing. All these people are born to get bombs dropped on them and die in the famine, and die in the race wars. Let me see if I can find that. Many there be that perish of famine. I think it is. I didn't even want to make this too long, but I even put out a video in a while, a few days. It says second. Oh wow, this is second Ezra's chapter, same way. Might as well just get it from here. Second Ezra 16 and 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right? How do you get the full chapter? What is this? Where's the full chapter at? There should be an option. Oh, I guess I just have to click that. Okay, so it says, behold, famine and plague and behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. They're celebrating right now like there ain't no scourges happening in the earth. This was 2018, obviously, but they're celebrating like no scourges are happening in the earth. Y'all wearing masks, so you know there's something to be scared of out there, but they're not always mindful of the plagues. The Most High says they're not mindful of the famine. I know there's famine happening in parts of Latin America, heavy. I seen a video on how they're eating what's it called? Look at this. Desperate Venezuelans buying spoiled meat at bargain prices. Venezuelan crisis where families buy rotten meat to eat. I'm sure there's some Venezuelan women who are jumping and rejoicing, but they didn't care. They don't know that the Most High is jacking you guys up because y'all being wicked. They don't understand that. So all this is coming to the earth. Right, it said, and then let me keep on reading because I think it was verse 20. It's verse 22. Well, okay, let me keep going. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that's what we're seeing. The sword, famine, and evil is still growing on the earth. It's not going to get better. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. This is what the Most High is saying. This is what's getting ready to happen the next few years. Most High willing probably start. It pops off this year, and people are going to be dying like so much. It says, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. There shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. People ain't going to have time to go plan funerals for people that are dying on the streets, for your family members, because you won't have time for that. You got to worry about making it the next day. You're going to be wondering where your next meal's coming from. Everybody's going. Most I said many. There be many. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Everyone's gonna be catching in when the food shortage kicks in. You can only go about 3 days without water. Wow. So let me get this, because I like I said, I believe that they're doing this, right? I believe the Most High is doing this because he's getting ready to jack these Northern Kingdom Argentinians up. So let me get that, and I'm gonna close on in Job. Was it 2 Samuel? Okay, 2 Samuel 24. Oop. Now look at this. It says 2 Samuel 24. When this goes to show you more free will in the scriptures. Once again, the anger of Yahweh burned against Israel, right? And he caused David to harm. Oh, let me go back to the KJV. So it says, and again the anger of the Most High was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah. Why? Because the Most High told David not to number the people. But here it is, the Most High saying, is the scripture saying, the Most High was angry at Israel, and he moved David against them to go number Israel. And then what happened when the Most High, and David numbered them? The Most High brought a plague on Israel. So David essentially wasn't being wicked, but Israel was being wicked. And the Most High wanted to kill Israelites. So what did he do? He used David, the ruler, because the ruler sins. Then the Most High is gonna jack up everybody, right? So look what happened. The Most High sent a pestilence after David numbered Israel. So the Most High sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. You see that? So the Most High wanted to jack up Israel, so he said, you know what? I'm gonna go make David number Israel, and then the host, right? Yeah, the captain of the host, because he wanted to know the exact number of his army. And David even want to do it. He asked before, and the Most High told him that it's not for him to know, right? But no point in to keep going on it. You guys should already know this. But let me finish with this. Job 19, man. It says, Job 19:29, be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. Unfortunately, a lot of our people, 2/3 of our people, don't know that there is a judgment. A lot of people, most people on earth don't know there is a judgment. Right? They're not afraid of the sword. They mourn when the sword comes near to them, on their family members, or comes onto them, but they ain't afraid of the sword. because they think the sword is just. I don't know, man. I really don't know. So I'm gonna read this again and close out. Be ye afraid of the sword. Who brings the sword? Who's the one, the author of death and life? You read in Deuteronomy 32:39. It's the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. For wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword. When the Most High is pissed, we just read it in Second Chronicles. When the Most High is mad, He's gonna bring the punishment of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. We just read it. That's why I was like, this is spiritual. I have to bring this out in a lesson. All right. So with that, I want to say, Call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Hope y'all edified. Shalom.